And on this segment of Newsmaker, we have two guests, Dr. Emyrs Westacott, the Alfred University philosophy professor, and Sophie Luo. Now, Sophie Luo is an Alstom employee in Hornell, and her husband will be the topic of today's interview, which Dr. Emyrs Westacott from AU is going to help me out a lot with, as he's written extensively on this case. Basically summed up, Jiaxi Ding back in China. He's a civil rights activist. He was held for 3 years by the Chinese government from 2013 to 2016 unjustly. He's been to America. He's gone back since. He met with some friends at a informal gathering, and for that has been arrested by the government and is being held in violation of so many laws, both Chinese and international. Sophie, your husband has been a civil rights activist in China. He's also an attorney, a very big name in Beijing.
My husband's first visit, Alfred, is when I was here to do a master's degree at Alfred University with Dr. Linda Jones. He visited here at 2000, and I came here 2000. Yeah, he came here 2001. Just visit me with my elder daughter. So that's the first time he came here. And after that, we fortunately had another baby. So he came here 3 to 4 times. When the baby was born, and come to take care of the baby, and brought the younger daughter to here the year after. Yeah, during the 4 years when I was in Alfred, finished my master's degree and started my job in Alstom, he visited here with our daughters around 3 to 4 times. And we know each other with Emyrs and a lot of Alfred friends since then. And after I finished, after 4 years, I went back to China to join him on 2004. And then we stayed in China for 9 years. During that period, in 2011, he himself went to Fordham University, did a visiting scholar program for around 7 to 8 months. So then that's his experience in the United States. He came here first time when I studied here. Then when we were in China, he visited New York City, Fordham University as a scholar for 7.5 months or 8 months, something like that.
Now, reading from Dr. Westacott's article, it says, by 2011, Jiaxi Ding had earned a reputation as one of the best intellectual property lawyers in Beijing. He could have continued with his firm, enjoying the fruits of professional success. Instead, after a short stint as a visiting scholar at Fordham in New York, Ding became a social and civil rights activist, intent on using his legal expertise and experience to advance causes. He's campaigned, Dr. Westacott writes, Ding, his campaign to make it easier for the children of migrant workers to take college exams. He demanded that the top Chinese government officials be required to disclose their personal finances, sought to protect the rights of property owners against unlawful government action, and has participated in what was known as the New Citizens Movement, which seeks to promote political and legal reforms by peaceful means.
I think that Jess's main concern is, as Sophie said, with civil rights and with social justice. It's not, he doesn't run for political office or anything like that. He's interested in bringing together people, getting together with people with similar ideas who'd like to see some democratic reforms, perhaps, and would like to see civil rights respected more in China. And under the Chinese constitution, people do have the right to freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, and also freedom of assembly. And so he wants to get together with people and discuss their ideas and this kind of thing. And I know that he's very concerned to emphasize this point, that everything he does is actually legal under Chinese law, and it's also legal and it's guaranteed protection under the Charter of the United Nations. So, although he's currently being detained under the charge of subversion of state power, something like that, in actual fact, what he does is completely in accordance with the Chinese constitution, and I think he'd see himself as being a concerned, responsible, and active citizen.
So, and this question is either for Sophie Luo or Emyrs Westacott, whoever wants to answer it. It seems that the Chinese constitution is one thing on paper, but putting it into practice is quite something else.
Exactly.
I think he would say, and I certainly agree with this, the people who are breaking the law is not him and his fellow civil rights activists. The people who are breaking the law are actually the authorities, because under Chinese law, he has the right to criticize the government, the right to criticize state functionaries. He also, under Chinese law, they do not have the right to conduct searches without warrant. They do not have the right to confiscate property without warrant, and yet they've done these things. At the moment, Jesse is in what's the phrase called? Detention. Sophie, what is the phrase that they use?
They put him into residential surveillance at a designated location. Even these tools they are taking, they should give him rights to meet with, because according to Chinese regulation of this RSDL, he has the right to meet his lawyer, and he has the right to communicate with his lawyer and with his family by letters, minimum.
So, again, what was this quote-unquote crime that got Jossie Ding being held as he's being held currently?
Yeah, they said he is inciting the subversion of state power, of the state power.
He's subverting the state power, and he did this by how again?
By meeting together with his friends to share his ideas about the present situation in China and the worldwide. They just, some friends get together in the weekend to discuss the situation. They discuss the topics they like.
Yes, reading off Dr. Westacott's article, it says it was on December 26th of 2019, just 6 months ago, after getting together informally, as you say, Sophie Luo, with like-minded activists. He was detained in Beijing. They call it residential surveillance in a designated location. And your husband's lawyer has been told that your husband faces a charge of inciting subversion of state power, but has not been allowed to meet with Ding. Now, this is not the first time that your husband has been held. Am I correct? He was held for, 3 years, from 2013 to 2016, Sophie Luo?
Correct. This is the second time he was detained by the authorities. In 2013, he was also arrested under imposed crime, saying assembling a crowd to disturb order in a public place. Just because at that time he kind of communicate with people of his idea about anti-corruption, request the top officials to disclose the asset of their family. So That is also in line with the Constitution, with the Chinese law.
Any danger of him being tortured as he's being held, Sophie Luo?
Yes.
There is that possibility. We're speaking in this segment of Newsmaker with Dr. Emyrs Westacott and Sophie Luo. Sophie once again works at Alstom and Hornell. Dr. Westacott, a philosophy teacher at Alfred University. Is there a trial coming up? Is there any kind of legal system that will be putting Jossie, Ding, your husband, there on trial, or is he just going to be held indefinitely? How does that work?
Oh, this is really something I want to talk about. Because 7 years ago, when he was arrested the first time, they did go through all the trial process. They allow his lawyer to see him, allow his lawyer brought his message out to me so we can communicate. And they did go through a trial, even a bogus trial, in whatever way. They put him into the jail for the 3.5 years. But this time, they just took him away without any legal notification to us, without any people to see him. If he's not live with one of my friends in Beijing, no one even know where he was taken away. I mean, so it happened at that time he lived with my friend. So they took him away without any legal notification, and we have no idea if he's able to go through a fair, open trial. The RSDL, the residential surveillance at designated location, can be 6 months. But after 6 months, according to Chinese law, he shall be told what he really did wrong or not. And also, my lawyer actually right now shall be able to get the evidence of the crime they are saying he is committing. But my lawyer get nothing. They refuse to give any information to the lawyer where I entrusted for him. So this is completely illegal and unpredictable. Because they do not do things according to Chinese law. So right now, I am not able to expect that he is going to go through a trial in fair situation. According to the cases similar to my husband, they took the people away, sent to RSDL, then usually they go to secret trial also, and just tell the family how many years they were charged. So that is the similar cases happened in some of our friends. So right now, I strongly doubt, and I worried they will do the same to Jossie. That is why I want to speak up to tell the world that Chinese government is using the law against the innocent citizens in China.
You've been getting a lot of publicity locally, Sophie Luo. Wondering, does the media back in China report on your husband's case at all?
Not at all. They are not allowed. Actually, I can only publish all the things in Twitter and Facebook, while Twitter and Facebook is strictly prohibited in China. So the people in China, if they want to see the truth, to know the truth, they have to use VPN. They have to use a specific software. They call it climb the wall of the internet censorship. Then they can come to see the Twitter and the Facebook. However, the policemen, the authorities, they are able to see it, but not the ordinary people. So that is why I keep publish all the news that I still have. Even not everyone in China is able to see it.
I would have imagined that the state-run media back in China would have put out at least a statement, even if it was condemning Jossie Ding and lying about Jossie Ding. I would imagine they would have said something, but could it be that there are so many people who are held unjustly by the government that is that maybe why the media back in China doesn't report on this?
Exactly, because they cover all the truth to people. Even my husband, previously, he is a commercial lawyer. Before he decided to, if he didn't try to seek the new news or the truth initiatively and using the tools, he will know nothing about United States, the actual what happened in the world. He will know nothing about the people persecuted in China, similar as what he is being persecuted now.
This is an incredible story, and we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment with Sophie Luo, who is from China, currently living in the Hornell area, working at Alstom in Hornell. We also have on the line with us Dr. Emyrs Westacott. We'll hear from both of them when we get back. Stay with us.
The Ryan Agencies, your local, independent insurance agencies. Online insurance companies don't know the unique needs of our rural community. The Ryan Agency meets rural needs every day. Local insurance experts offering realistic solutions. Contact the Ryan Agencies today. Good local people offering realistic insurance solutions.
Insurance protection you can rely on. The Ryan Agency.
Back with Sophie Luo and Dr. Emyrs Westacott, the philosophy teacher from Alfred University. Dr. Westacott, Sophie describes her husband as not being political, but being more of a civil rights activist. Would you describe Jossie Ding as a political prisoner, or how would you explain that?
I would say he's a political prisoner in the same way as I'd also call him a prisoner of conscience, because I think that he is being imprisoned, mainly, for his views, which are critical of some of the policies of the Chinese government, and he's obviously seeking. He's an activist. He's seeking to discuss these ideas with other people. So, in the broadest sense, he's a political prisoner because he's not in prison for any real crimes he's committed, but just for his opinions and that he has and that he expresses.
Sophie Luo, have you spoken with any politicians here in America, any senators or any congressmen about your husband's situation?
Yes, I did contacted Congressman Tom Reed and also Senator Schuman. Under the help of Alfred University Group, I already sent them the story and my talk in Alfred University, and also they did get back to me before the pandemic isolation, saying they are going to pay attention to this case and do something they are able to. But maybe due to the pandemic, their action may be on hold a little bit. We expect to resume the communication later. In addition to that, I also went to Washington, D.C. with my NGO friends. We visited White House, visited Congress Committee of China Commission, and also the State of Department Human Rights Desk. We have reported this case to them on January.
What would you like our listeners to do? Anybody listening to this on the radio or on our website or YouTube page, what can people do to help?
As stated in Emyrs' article, basically, Chinese government, they knew they are doing things illegally. They're trying to cover it. So the best thing people who listen to this story can do to help us is to communicate with friends, family, or say tell people the story and let people know Chinese government persecute innocent citizens using the law by misusing the Chinese laws.
They could also take a lead from Amnesty International, who Amnesty International profiled Jesse's case as a prisoner of conscience, and they provide you with a kind of template letter to send to the Chinese authorities. You could send it to the authorities in China or to the Chinese government here, the Chinese embassy in Washington. I think that letters like that help, and emails like that help, as well as sharing everything on social media, because, as I say in the article, publicity in this kind of thing is like sunlight. It provides comfort to the prisoners of conscience, but it also brings things into the light and sort of acts as a kind of disinfectant. I think that the Chinese government are actually ashamed of some of their policies. That's why they keep things secret. And I think that one can use shame as a kind of lever to help, reform those policies.
Okay, we've been talking with Sophie Luo, an awesome employee here in Hornell who's from China. Her husband, his name is Josie Ding, a civil rights activist who's currently being held back in China. We've also been speaking with Dr. Emyrs Westacott, who's written a lot about this situation with his friends Sophie Luo and Josie Ding. I want to thank you both for coming on Newsmaker today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for giving us this chance. Thank you so much, Brian.
Don't know what to say. Very moving story, very serious situation. Hard to believe that in 2020 there's still parts of the world that they can take you prisoner like Josie Ding is being held right now, a civil rights and activist. Thank you so much. I'm Brian O'Neill.